Hello everyone and welcome back to Phoenix Wright Trials and Tribulations. I've just been going for the first 10 minutes and realizing my capture card was having a bit of an issue. So, round 2 I guess.
Good morning, Mr. Wright. Good morning, Maggie. So, what do you think will happen today, sir?
The good thing about doing all this dialogue again is I've actually warmed up my voice, so it might be a little bit better than the first time around.
Yesterday's session didn't go so well and ended up on a giant mystery.
That's true. Amazing, we still haven't solved a single part of it yet.
You okay, Nick?
Huh? Yeah, of course.
I saw that little flash of doubt in your eyes.
No, that wasn't doubt. That was, determination.
Why don't I believe you? Nearly time, Maggie. You better get going to the defendant's seat. Roger. Don't let me down, Mr. Wright. I'm counting on you.
Hey, pal. Hey, Detective Gumshoe. Quit stressing Maggie out. She doesn't need that. How did you know she was stressed? I was, watching through the doorway. Oh. You look like you lost the case already. Come on, show a bit of confidence, will you, pal? Yeah, maybe this'll help.
Have you taken up aromatherapy too?
Not in a million years, pal. Don't tell me that you don't remember this thing. Come to think of it, that doesn't look like one of those aromatherapy bottles. I believe that's one of the bottles we got from the aromatherapy thing. But it was different to all the rest. I guess it would have had poison in. Hopefully, anyway. It's this small bottle that turned up in Trebion's kitchen just a couple days ago.
Wow, look at all these little bottles.
Oh, they're aromatherapy oils. He's got so many and they're overflowing onto the floor.
Hey, wait a minute. There's one bottle that's different from all the others.
Well, what do you know? And it doesn't have a label on it either.
And doesn't smell.
We finally got the analysis back from the lab.
So, what is it? Is it the poison?
Drumroll, please. Oh, I'm afraid not, pal. It's medication.
Medication?
Yeah, for ears. Topical use only, apparently. For ears? You mean... Yeah, it's the medication Glenn Elg was using for his ruptured eardrum. What was Glenn Elg's ear medicine doing in the kitchen? What about the unidentified fingerprints? Anything on that? Yeah, someone screwed up, as they usually do. So they only had time to analyze the contents of the bottle. Overall, they might have gotten something on the prints, but that is going to weaken its impact as a piece of evidence. Okay, pal, this is it. Make sure your defense is impregnable today. Got it? Oh well. I'm gonna expose that guy for what he's done, and my name isn't Phoenix Wright. Plot twist, his name actually isn't Phoenix Wright. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Nah, I think we'll have this in the bag. Right. I must be nervous now, because I don't want to waste any more time. The court is now in session for the trial of Maggie Byrne. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Ready and waiting as always, Your Honor. Very good, then we'll get underway at once. Yesterday we heard the testimony of Mr. Victor Kudo. He claims to have witnessed the defendant putting a powder into the victim's coffee. However, the testimony was plagued with a number of problems. The mark on the rim of the cup shows that the victim drank from it with his right hand. I've said this before, you technically can lift it with your left. That's what I do, to be fair. but according to the old man's testimony, he picks it up with his left hand. Thank you, Mr. Gatto. Furthermore, according to the witness's account, the victim was listening to the radio with an earpiece in his left ear. Yet the victim's eardrum was ruptured, which made him effectively deaf in that ear.
It's amazing how many contradictions a single case can have, huh, Nick?
Well, seems Godot's got some answers. Godot, yeah. Allow me to enlighten you, Your Honor. The world you see keeps turning, and we must turn with it. You've lost me already, Mr. Godot. Don't let the mysteries of yesterday mystify you today. Only losers think like that. You've got to change with the times. That's one of my rules. You're implying that you've resolved all of these contradictions? You know the answers to these riddles? The old guy wasn't throwing seed in here. He was throwing us off the scent. And today, I'll prove it. Very well. Let the first witness take the stand. I'm assuming it's going to be the Frenchman, because we haven't really introduced El Tigre or the daughter of the crime boss yet. And you are...
Oh, great, I had to do the French accent now. Oh, bonjour, everyone. I'm Jean Armstrong, the owner and head chef de la Tribulations restaurant. Enchanté.
Forgive me for asking, but are you a woman? How very progressive of the judge to ask. Gotta give him credit for that. The guy really does not... I mean, the guy is a runner of a courtroom, so I guess he knows how to get out of not being sued out or end up behind bars in any such way.
Oh la la, monsieur. As you can see, I am le petit perky gentleman. No.
I don't know how to feel right now. On the day of the incident, you were in Trebion's kitchen. Isn't that right?
Oui, je, monsieur. Everything feels right.
Wow, he's totally unfazed. Doesn't anything intimidate this guy? Very well, your testimony, please, witness. Please tell the court what happened that day at Trebion.
Oui, volunteers. When it all happened there were just 2 customers in my restaurant. I remember I was experimenting with some new art deco that day. Like having a large mirror between the tables, for example. Oui, perhaps that is what the old man was looking at. La coupe, la épice, la glaces. He would have seen everything in reverse, no?
Mirror?
Oui, un grand mirror. La most enormous mirror.
And suddenly, the mystery disappears. Like I said, the world keeps turning, so roll with it. That would explain the coffee cup and the earpiece. The mirror would have made everything appear back to front.
What the heck? It's way too early in the morning for this to be happening to me.
Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Hmm. Do 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 do. Right, finally. This is, I think... Yeah, okay, just checking something, doesn't matter. Press everything. And who are the two customers exactly?
Me, of course. La young man who died. And la other not so young man.
Are you referring to yesterday's witness, I presume? The other man Maggie said she saw at the table. Something tells me Mr. Armstrong isn't planning to disclose his existence.
We need some hard evidence before we can bring him up, don't we?
I believe so, Maya. I believe so. I guess I'll just have to try a different approach for the time being. Okay. Experimenting with some Art Deco. How so? You were experimenting with Art Deco. How come I've never heard about that before today?
You are not familiar with the language of interior design, monsieur.
Please stay on topic. Now, why didn't you tell the cop about this before?
But I did just a few moments ago.
Excuse me, Mr. Armstrong. This deco you mentioned, are you referring to some sort of... decotia? No. Art Deco, it's a style of design, Your Honor. I have no idea what decoture is. I've never seen that word before, or I might have, but clearly it's evaded my memory. If I could spell it, that'd be best. Decote. Yo. Sorry, I really just want to know what that word means. And I've completely misspelled it, and I'm getting a lot of things that aren't what I mean. Okay, never mind. Well, let's go. Talking about interior design. Walls, ceilings, carpets, that sort of thing. Ah, yes, of course. That's deco.
I was trying to achieve a more la feminine look for my restaurant. I was planning the most bold remodeling of la decor. Like having a large mirror.
How big of a mirror are we talking here?
Oof. Something about 4 meters wide and 2 meters high.
Let's see, if it's 1 meter is about 1 yard, then holy, glass in a frame, that's huge. And you wonder why he's about $500,000 in debt.
I wasn't intending to install it on the ceiling eventually.
The ceiling? Wait, there was a mirror on the ceiling? I don't remember. I don't remember either. I don't think they showed it us actually in the visuals.
Man, no. I decided not to go through with it in the end.
What should I do? Press harder. Always. More information's better. No repercussion for doing so. If you really had such a large mirror in the restaurant, someone would have noticed it. There's nothing about a mirror in Mr. Kudo or Maggie Bird's testimonies.
But
Nope. Got an explanation for that one too, do you?
you didn't ask, Wright. You only have yourself to blame for such sloppy work.
What?
The mirror was delivered to Tribulations that day before the incident.
Really?
As Mr. Armstrong testified, he was carrying out some design changes. As it turned out, he didn't actually use the mirror in the end.
That just doesn't add up. Even if the mirror was delivered to Tribulations, it doesn't prove that it wasn't It doesn't prove that it was in the restaurant on the day of the crime.
What a doubt someone tried to look in the mirror. I'm sure the person looking back at you will be dubious enough.
So the witness yesterday seen the victim reflected in a mirror. We shall see. Normally I'd expect people to know the difference between a reflection and a real object.
Objection!
Normally? How does normality come into this? That's lame, Wright. Even for you.
Huh?
You trying to say that if something isn't normal, isn't possible? Is that it? Where does that leave the porcupine-headed lawyer and the top-knot chick over there? And the ungodly cool guy with a mask over here? Well, Trite?
Not the hair. And I do not have a top knot.
I mean, you kinda do. Mr. Godot is correct. A lack of normality is no basis for discounting an argument.
Bien, logic as one lade.
Got a point. The amount of stupid stuff that's happened in our previous trials, you don't really get to throw that out there. Everything. You would have had seen everything in reverse.
Hey Nick, we should take a second and think about what old CD said in his testimony.
Give me a second. Just checking. Just checking. How did he phrase it again?
The boy was wearing an earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. No question, you can lock me up if I'm wrong. It was his left ear, without a doubt. And then he used the same hand to pick up the cup, his left hand. He saw everything described reflected in a mirror, and everything he said he saw on the left was actually on the right, huh?
That clears all the problems up with his testimony, I guess. Or does it? It's kind of hard to believe everything's the fault of a mirror, but
You think old CD saw everything for a reflection?
if he did, it would explain all the contradictions in his testimony.
That just makes the situation worse for Maggie. There's gotta be something in that old man's testimony. We've just gotta dig a little deeper.
My favorite, Prince and the Frog song. Okay, that's definitely where the contradiction is. La coupe, la earpiece, and the glasses. The thing is, it's the eyepiece I'm looking for. Because as we all know, his earpiece was on his left side, and he said it was, which means it would have been on his right. But if we look at his profile, his earpiece is on his left side. Well, that's the only thing I can think of that potentially is contradiction. And we're right. We're off to the races, ladies and gentlemen. The coffee cup, the earpiece, and the HMD. Let's think back over Mr. Kudo's testimony for a second, shall we? The boy was wearing an earpiece on each side is the green lens of his specs. No question, you can lock me up if I'm wrong. It was his left ear, without a doubt. So to summarize, when we were told both the HMD and the earpiece were on the victim's left-hand side. Now, if Mr. Kudo saw all that as a reflection in a mirror, it means both the HMD and the earpiece were actually on the victim's right side.
Exactement. You see, monsieur, now that you think about it, it is not so hard, no?
Unfortunately, that's where we run into a monumental contradiction with the facts. Mr. Kudo really did see everything in a mirror, as you say. Sorry, just taking a breath. Why is it that the HMD is now on the wrong side of his head? Order, order. That was weird. That was a weird cut between the judge's like standard face and his surprised one. It makes him look like he had bloodshot eyes for a second. Mr. Wright is correct. If the witness genuinely observed the victim reflected in a mirror, then why would we expect the victim's eyepiece to have been over his right eye?
Oh, bitter. Right, you should have a taste of this bitterness. It'll calm you down in no time.
Are we talking about your coffee or something completely different?
You don't understand the way the witness thinks.
How he thinks?
You remember this, I presume.
The I broke the vase sorry apology Mr. Kudo's sworn testimony.
Exactly. The old man has one very grievous habit, other than throwing seeds. The more of an impression something makes, the more muddled his mind makes it. And what's the most striking thing about Mr. Elg?
Clearly the victim's eyepiece.
That's my point. The old man strikes again. Mr. Elg's HMD had a big impression on the old man. I saw the earpiece and those newfangled spectacles he was wearing. Oh yeah, they were both on his left ear. You hear? His left ear. Well, Wright.
That's the worst, but best impression of Victor Kudo I've ever heard.
Wow, I really thought he was old Seedy for a minute there. Gatto's good.
Enough! I must agree that yesterday's witness was irresponsibly rash in much of his testimony.
Bad luck, Nick. Looks like the boil of a contradiction you found is just a rat. It's just a rash.
Ah well, we'll get him some way.
A mirror can't be beaten by a handful of seeds, nor can it lie.
But it can be broken.
So what exactly was the old man looking at? Fill us in, Mr. Armstrong. Go on, tell the court. We're all ears. Oui, I can explain, please, if you will look at la plans for la restaurant.
Here we go, round two.
Hello, is everyone sitting comfortably? La mirror, it was in the middle of la restaurant, dividing the two halves. There is only one seat from which you could have seen the image of la victim.
Huh.
That was at la seat at the table next to la victim. That was where the old man was sitting. After that terrible incident occurred, I moved la mirror so it was not in the way. But naturally, I did not touch anything else.
I see no problems with the explanation we've just heard. From the table to the next, two next to the victims, Mr. Kudo could have seen the victim in the mirror.
What a naughty little co-ed I am confusing all the men like this. Don't...
I mixed up my voices.
Don't worry about it. We can keep up except for the guy breaking in a cold sweat over there.
I hate this guy. You said you didn't touch anything else apart from the mirror. You're quite sure about that?
Volunteers, of course.
Well, I assume, barring anything else of his testimony we can't break, we're going to have to put that bottle into good use soon. Very well, Mr. Wright. Your cross-examination, if you please. Now let's see if we can find anything else. So I'll run this by me again. The mirror was here, correct?
We.
We? Really? So I know if I were you, I want to put a mirror there. It would have been in the way.
Objection!
Look who's talking, Trite.
Huh?
You're obstructing my view, among other things.
But this is my scene in the courtroom.
This Trebion's charm is that it gives you the impression that you're the only customer. Temporarily placing a mirror in that spot would hardly be in the way.
Like you.
Unlike you, Trite. I tell you, monsieur, la mirror was there in the middle of the restaurant.
Well, at least he's... I guess there's nothing we can find there. Okay, one seat. And where would that be?
Oh la la, look how you lean towards me. I always attract the younger boys. Maybe I should keep you in suspense a little longer.
Mr. Armstrong, tell the court what you know at once.
I attract the older ones too, you know. And some shall I tease you too.
I am a happily married woman. No, man. This man has me very confused.
I'm already seeing a hot someone, so I'm afraid you'll be waiting for a long time.
Bet she has mocha cream skin and a cappuccino perfume.
Yeah, I will tell you, there was only one seat which you could have seen him.
So, why can you only see the victim from this particular seat?
Mais, monsieur, it is obvious, no? If you look at la plans, you will understand. La victim would have been reflected in la mirror like so. If you were sitting at la table to him, you would not have seen everything, no?
That's the old seat Seedy was sitting at on that day, when the poisoning happened.
The old man was sitting at the table next to the victim. Why does that seem kind of odd? Exactly, I'm thinking about it too. Give me a moment, I'll try and think about it when we're going through these next two statements. Did you move the mirror while Mr. Kudo was calling the police?
Oui, exactement. I carried it out of la restaurant then.
You moved a huge mirror like that all by yourself? I mean, he has got the arms.
What can I say? I know how to pick things up and some.
Gato actually laughed at something.
Well, given the witness's physique, I suppose it is possible. Did you move anything else from the crime scene, Mr. Armstrong?
I look like the obliging type, no? But naturally, I did not touch anything else.
You sure about that? Sorry, I'm just thinking of the John Cena meme.
I touched nothing except la mirror.
Mr. Wright, is there something the witness has said that doesn't match the crime scene?
Yes, there is. I just can't put my finger on what exactly.
Suffering from a case of heartburn, Trite? Oh, I have just a thing for that. And oil with golden mirror and Frankenstein's. Add a few drops to your coffee and voila. Enjoy.
I mean, I don't know why I went with myrrh and frankincense. You know, two of the three things they give to Jesus on his birthday. Oh, when he was born. Focus, Phoenix. Breathe. Just need to ignore these two and find some evidence. Just find some evidence and we'll be fine.
It's pretty strange, though, isn't it? I mean, nobody mentioned anything about a really large mirror. I think someone would have, but Maggie didn't, and neither did old Sadie.
The only logical explanation is there was no mirror inside Tribien that day. I just gotta prove it, somehow. I mean, that's the one I'm thinking about at the moment. I think I've got it. But I don't know how to do it in the right I don't think so, Slim Jim. But I have a crime scene photo that has a stuff on it.
I got you now.
This piece of evidence contradicts with the testimony we have heard, Your Honor.
A crime photo?
Yes. Yes, this photo clearly shows something that theoretically should not exist.
What on earth do you mean by that, Mr. Wright?
Should not exist? Huh. Sounds like you're describing yourself, Trite.
Now then. Oh, sorry.
Ugh. I was coming off a yawn then.
Now then, if the defense would please clarify its statement. What's the something that should not exist in this photo?
This vase. I think it's pretty obvious that this should not be in the picture.
The vase? What possible connection does this have with the witness's testimony?
Your Honor, I'm telling you that there should be no vase on this table. Because it very clearly contradicts with this piece of evidence. Bada boom, bada bing. The old man's testimony comes in, I guess. It's the closest I could get to a rhyme. There is one thing that was clearly demonstrated by the yesterday's testimony. Mr. Kudo broke the vase that was on the table where he was sitting. And yet, as the court can see, there is an unbroken vase on the table next to the victim. Why? Because Mr. Kudo was not, in fact, sitting at the table next to the victim at all.
Objection!
Don't be an idiot, Trite. That's impossible. The seat's the only one Kudo could have seen the victim's reflection from.
Exactly.
Ah, shit.
I just wish for once we'd get something like that from one of the prosecutors where he's like, ah, crap. He's on a roll here. There's only one conclusion we can draw from this contradiction. There was no mirror in Treby on that day. Your testimony, Mr. Armstrong, is an elaborate lie.
Mon Dieu. Don't try to confuse the court, Trite. Of course, the witness cleaned up the vase, while the police were taking their time getting to the crime scene.
I don't think so. Unfortunately, Mr. Goddo, that doesn't quite work for me. Mr. Armstrong already testified to the contrary in his own words. He did not touch anything else except the mirror. And then copious amounts of swallowing coffee.
Well, witness, what do you have to say for yourself?
I was right. There was no mirror in the restaurant on that day.
In light of this revelation, we return back to the original problem. Why did the victim have an earpiece in the ear in which he couldn't hear?
Only get one shot in life. There's no turning back. If you want to claim the mirror wasn't there, Trite, then this problem is all yours. How can you explain what the old man saw?
Of course I can answer this, then I'd be much closer to the truth. I can feel it.
You gonna be okay? Can you really solve this contradiction, Nick?
There's more than just one contradiction, Maya.
What do you mean?
Remember what Maggie told us? There was another man at the victim's table. And there was a sample CD on the victim's table as well. It all flies in the face of Mr. Kudo's testimony. And I think I know the reason why nothing in this case is adding up.
Well, Mr. Wright, let's hear your answer.
Yes, Your Honor. The reason behind all the contradiction in Mr. Kudo's testimony is simple. Victim was a phony. I doubt that. Mr. Kudo made a mistake. The ear doctor made a mistake. I mean, it's the top one and the bottom one. I don't think the doctor made a mistake. It was for his left ear. So, Mr. Kudo could have made a mistake. The victim was a phony. I mean, I'm not saying it was a phony. I'm just saying it was misplaced. But I guess it makes more sense. The case is riddled with contradictions. Yet, there is only one very simple answer that clears them all up.
And what is that?
The incident Mr. Kudo witnessed and the incident the victim experienced were two completely different events.
What?
Yes, the victim that Mr. Kudo saw wasn't Mr. Glen Elg at all. It was an imposter, a phony pretending to be Mr. Elg. Obviously, unlike the victim, there was nothing wrong with the imposter's left eardrum. That's how he ended up wearing the earpiece in his left ear by mistake. Oh, great, we got him. Spat out his coffee. Brilliant.
Order, who are in the court? Settle down or I'll clear the courtroom.
Quiet, Gramps. Why don't you clear out of here, huh?
What did you say?
Trite, you saying what Mr. Kudo saw was a setup?
Yes, I do believe so. Someone pretended to be Mr. Glen Elg and acted out the whole coffee poisoning. All for the express purpose of creating a witness out of one Victor Kudo.
Get real, Trite. Why would anyone do that?
Alibi, dipshit. Isn't it obvious? The thing Mr. Kudo was most insistent about in his testimony was the straps. Straps. We're getting back to this again.
The serving girl brought a Javasino. She put something in it. That's the serving girl right there in the defendant's chair. I remember her well.
It's so hard to believe, but
There was only one reason to show Mr. Kudo this fake poisoning. To show Maggie Bird in the act of poisoning the coffee.
You insinuating that the waitress in the old man's story was fake as well? It's true that there were no other customers in the restaurant at the time, but it's also true that the chef was there. He would have noticed what was happening.
that is right. Well, witness. Your restaurant really was at the scene of such theatrics. You would have known about it, correct?
Oh la la, this is the most difficult for me.
Nope, it's quite simple, I'm afraid. All you have to do is testify. You are under oath, after all. Was there in fact a phony at Tribulations that day? The defense demands that Mr. Armstrong tell the whole truth about what happened. I mean, he's already perjured himself with the whole mirror debacle, so he's kind of just digging himself a bigger hole.
The defense request for additional testimony is accepted. You will accurately explain in detail the events in the restaurant that day.
Oui.
Well, Bucko, hope you got a good explanation.
La victime, Monsieur Elg, he came here to my restaurant alone. I remember that old man arrived not long after him. There were no other customers. When he got word that he'd won the lottery, Mon Elg became very excited. It was approximately 5 minutes later that the poisoning incident occurred. No, there was no time for a funny to do la acting.
Just so we're clear, there was no mirror in the restaurant after all.
Je vous demande pardon, forgive me, Your Honor. I lied because I wanted this mess to be cleared up quickly.
What you've just done is commit perjury, Mr. Armstrong. I'll decide how to punish you later. Get down on all fours.
Oui.
I'm very worried. The judge has been confused by this witness, and now he's saying he's going to punish him. I'm a bit scared.
For now, we'll hear your cross-examination, Mr. Wright, if you please.
Took that perjury charge a bit too well. I'm guessing he'll be in for more serious trouble after this cross-examination. Okay, let's see. We're on a perfect sweep so far. We're doing well. Okay, let's start pressing. Was he alone at his table as well?
Mais oui. I saw him from la kitchen.
Yeah, the defendant, Miss Bird, remembers it differently. She swears she saw another man at the victim's table.
Unfortunately for you, Wright. Yesterday's witness also testified that the victim was alone. You know, seeing you squirm reminds me that... Well, it reminds me of a certain coffee's bittersweet bite.
What kind of coffee is he even drinking?
It's not coffee, it's love. It's love that's bittersweet.
Hearing Maya say that makes her seem wise all of a sudden. Well, you know, a broken clock's right twice a day. Even Maya can have something, smart to say. By the old man, you mean Victor Kudo, correct?
It comes often from a special coffee.
I drank your coffee once, Mr. Armstrong. It's special, I'll give you that. It's worth a sip just for the experience.
Oh, you make me so happy, monsieur. You are most welcome anytime.
I said it was worth one sip, and nothing more.
So Mr. Kudo arrived at the restaurant around the same time as the victim. Maybe I should ask about the arrival in more detail. Ask about the time first. Out of curiosity, about what time was it when Mr. Kudo arrived?
Oh no, I cannot remember, monsieur.
I believe we were told by a witness yesterday.
Yeah, the crime was reported at 2:25 by a scary old man, sir.
Does that perhaps jog your memory, witness?
The incident happened about 20 minutes after he arrived. So the victim must have arrived between 2 p.m. and 2:10, no?
Just after 2, huh? Give me a moment, just want to check something. Yeah. Right.
Thank you for your help in jogging my memory, monsieur. You are wonderful.
I can't sit here all the time and do nothing, can't I?
See, he's being chummy with him.
Time of day will be added to the witness's testimony.
Oui, monsieur judge. Everything I do it for you.
Okay, bit of Brian Adams there. There's Brian Adams, isn't it? Yeah.
Merci bien. That's French, isn't it?
I'm glad at least one person is in a good mood. He's even humming a song to himself. Well, we'll just clear up these before we start, you know, presenting some evidence. You absolutely sure about it? About it this time?
When I think really hard, I am sure it was just after 2. It is last time I stopped serving the lunch menu.
Right. I always break for lunch when the restaurants are serving their specials. I've been known to wind up a case early just to make it up on time.
Guess you should never get between a hungry judge and his lunch.
Oh, and would you have a look at that? It's almost lunchtime already.
Witness, get on with your testimony, please.
There were no other customers.
So your only customers were Mr. Kudo and the victim.
How many times do you need to ask the same thing, Wright? You never catch me drinking the same blend twice.
Huh?
You're trying to establish the presence of a phony victim in the restaurant. But you're wasting your time. You can't grind bird seed to make coffee. You catch my drift.
Well, there's a hole in his testimony somewhere, I'm sure of it. Okay, let's see how Mr. Elg was. There might be multiple contradictions in his testimony for all I know. Did you see him?
No, I was in the kitchen, but I heard him. I remember him shouting, "Yes, $500,000.
Presumably the defendant heard that too then, correct?
Maggie. She looked like a poor little frightened dove.
What about Mr. Kudo?
That old man choked on some bird seeds that got stuck in his throat.
It seems we have yet another incident on our hands.
And what were you doing at that point? Without any customers, you must have had time to kill. Get it? Time to kill?
I am a multi-talented woman, monsieur.
Sorry, what do you mean?
There is la renowned chef Jean Armstrong and la tragic poet Clarice Armstrong.
Clarice?
Oui, I was writing a poem, an angry tale of a chef in $500,000 of debt, cooking for a man who won $500,000 on la lottery. It is called Pourquoi?
That means why? Yeah, I was gonna say it means why.
Perhaps I could recite it for la court.
Please don't. Right, at the end of the pressing. I mean, you contacted the police as soon as the incident occurred.
I asked la old man to call for la payphone.
By your own argument, Trite. The purpose of this phony victim's performance was so the old man would see it. In other words, once the incident occurred, this opportunity would completely disappear.
Indeed. Oh, indeed.
Bien, it seems the shadow of that has been lifted. N'est-ce pas?
Don't you... It is not? I think that says. Is it not?
I guess Mr. Armstrong is connected to this case, huh?
Absolutely. Someone has been impersonating Mr. Relg, and I refuse to believe it was... refuse to believe he was oblivious. He was there the whole time, after all.
Maybe you're right. Wouldn't Maggie have noticed too?
She fell unconscious when the incident occurred, remember?
Oh yeah, you mean that phone... You mean the phony stages act?
You'll know for sure once I find a hole in his testimony. Right. So, if I use this as evidence, I might have a chance. Well, coming up Millhouse today. I'm afraid I've finally got you, Mr. Armstrong.
Quoi? What do you mean?
At the time in question, the victim was listening to the radio with his earpiece. The show he was listening to was Millionaire Radio. Each week they announce the winning numbers of of the $500,000 lottery ticket.
Oui, that must be la show Mon Elk was listening to.
I can't see any problem with this testimony, Mr. Wright.
I wonder. You say the victim arrived at your restaurant after 2, correct?
Oui, oui, I am sure of it. I remember it perfectly now. I know it was that time because I had just finished serving la lunch menu.
Get to the point, Trite, if you have one.
The show is broadcast live at 1:30. It claims to be the most thrilling 10 minutes of your life.
It's on the air at 1:30.
Now, supposedly, the victim made some noise when it was announced he had won. And yet, I don't believe his cry of joy could have occurred after 2 p.m. Because the show had already finished more than 30 minutes earlier by that point in time.
No.
The victim we have been told has done the victim we've been told about has done nothing but the impossible. Listening to the radio with a ruptured eardrum. Catching a show that was already over. There's only one conclusion you can draw from these facts. The victim was an imposter, acting out the poisoning 30 minutes after the actual murder. Yes, there are 2 Glen Elgs in Tribulations that day. The real Glen Elg, now dead, having been poisoned by the real killer, and the phony Glen Elg acting out the events for Mr. Kudo to witness.
It certainly seems that way. I mean, if that wasn't the case, how could you explain the time discrepancy?
Quite a performance, Trite. You were almost on a roll. But sadly, you lack the rock-hard foundation of rhythm to build your song.
What is this, Music Theory 101?
Let's recap. According to your imaginative theory, it's just after 2 p.m. The phony elk is performing a play for the benefit of Mr. Kudo. How do you explain then where the real Glen Elg is?
I don't believe I have to spell it out for the court, however. At the time, the real Glen Elg was already dead.
That's certainly the obvious conclusion.
Thank you, Trite. That's exactly what I was hoping you'd say.
What?
I presume you can prove this theory of yours. Can you explain where the missing corpse went?
The missing corpse? I don't know.
According to the old man's testimony, there was only one other customer there. And the customer was the phony Glen Elg. Then where did the killer hide the body of the real victim?
The prosecution has a valid point, Mr. Wright. Your theory is to stand up to examination by the court. You must provide us with proof by answering the prosecution's question. Where did the killer hide the body?
Yes, Your Honor.
No conjecture, Trite. Let's hear some facts for once. Show the court a piece of evidence that proves where the body was hidden.
Evidence?
What's with this intense pressure in here all of a sudden?
Where could he have been? I thought I had him with that contradiction. But he's turned it all around and backed us into a corner instead.
Well, Mr. Wright, the court will now hear the defense's theory and evidence. First, where was the body of the real Glen Elg concealed?
Inside Tribulations. Has to be. It would have been too dangerous to take the body outside. Obviously, the body must have been hidden somewhere inside Tribulations.
Interesting. Where could a body have been hidden inside a restaurant? Perhaps you would care to show the court on these plans, Mr. Wright?
Yes, Your Honor. The only other place I can think of is the kitchen. The exact location he was concealed in, it has to be the kitchen, correct? Body was hidden here.
I see.
Nice supposition. The real question is, can you back it up?
What's the evidence that proves the body was hidden in that location? I assume it has to be the bottle, otherwise it makes no sense. It's the only thing that we have, because he said he didn't touch it, so it was moved there. It's the only thing that makes sense to me. I'm gonna go with it. Hopefully we're right. Yep, we are. Brilliant. Mr. Armstrong, do you remember this bottle?
No. I have never seen that ugly bottle before in my life. I only use the very best bottles, monsieur. The highest quality only for me.
Where was that bottle found, Mr. Wright?
Interestingly enough, Your Honor, it was found in the kitchen of Tribulations.
Eh? Quoi? But I only ever use the bottles for my aromatherapy oils.
This bottle doesn't contain aromatherapy oil, Mr. Armstrong. No, it contains a medication.
What kind of medication?
I'm sure everyone remembers, don't they? And Mr. Elk oh crap, I'm gonna have to pronounce that again. Then Mr. Elk visited an otolaryngological clinic. Got it. And was given medication that day. The fact that Phoenix can just slam that word down on the table and like it's easy is, just an achievement in itself.
You can't be serious.
The defense has the contents of the bottle analyzed, and I have the lab results right here. The contents of the bottle match the prescription that was given to Mr. Elg. Spit. Glenn Elg's murder hid the body in the restaurant kitchen, at which time the bottle fell out of the victim's pocket. Mr. Armstrong, when did the incident occur? Didn't you say you were in the kitchen?
Mon Dieu.
Yes, you know what I'm going to say. It was you who hid the victim's body. You did a fine job pretending to defend my client, Maggie Bird, however. However, you were setting her up to take the fall behind the poor girl's back.
No.
Hold on. This is extraordinary development. Witness, did you murder Mr. Glenelg?
Never. I could not do such an horrible thing. No.
Oh, it's gotta.
No.
Mr. Gatto?
The bitterness. Every time I get lied to, I always down a mug of coffee. That's one of my rules.
Do you have the slightest idea how many cups you've had by now? That man must have the biggest bladder in the world. Or he's catheterizing himself, which is surprisingly more likely.
And I like to do the same with the person who lied to me. I like to take them down with my empty cup. Listen up, chef. How about a brand new flavor in your ear? My H-deficient friend.
Je vous demande pardon. You must hear me out. It is a trap. Listen to me. Por favor.
Isn't that Spanish?
Yo hablo español, Mr. Armstrong, and por favor Spanish.
I'm only going to ask you once. Did you do it?
No. Absolutely no.
Let's hear it. You've got one shot. Right, Gramps?
Witness, the court will permit you to change to... Damn it. I can't say words. The court will permit you the chance to make one final test statement. If you lie under oath again, Mr. Godot's coffee mug awaits you. And so does my gavel.
Oui, it is clear.
What do they say in movies? I've got a bad feeling about this. Well, in Star Wars films they do.
Very well. Begin your final testimony, Mr. Armstrong.
Do I have to break it? Or is it confession time for him?
It is true. I eat like body in the kitchen. I thought a man forced me to do it. I had no choice. I had to go along with it because there was no reason why I could refuse. But I did not kill him. I swear it, you must believe me.
You were forced? By who?
I cannot say, or I will be erased.
Let's try a different question then. When Mr. Glenelg died, was he really the only person at that table?
There was another man.
I knew it!
Maggie was telling the truth.
You may cross-examine the witness now, Mr. Wright.
There's just one thing I need to do. I gotta break this guy and get him to tell us the name of the real killer.
It is true, I eat la bunny in la kitchen.
Oh, we'll be done. Guess we have to break it one more time. Did you carry the body by yourself?
I carried him, and I carried Maggie too.
Maggie, too?
When she saw the victim collapse, she fainted. I could not leave her there.
But why did you hide the bodies?
What man? Who was he?
No, I cannot say. I fear for my life.
He is really scared.
You just have to put the words in his mouth, Nick.
Yes, you're right. If you won't tell me, I'll tell him.
But why would you go along with this man?
I had to go along with
Oh well, doesn't matter. Press it anyway. That was a reaction. I didn't really mean to press it. What reason would that be, Mr. Armstrong?
you know, monsieur.
Yes?
Surely you cannot expect a young maiden to talk about such an embarrassment.
A young maiden? You're a bit old to get away with that.
I'm a bit too male.
Hey Maya, don't be such a bigot. You never know. That man with the beard and the the muscles, he might be a perfectly fine woman. Stop being a bigot and accept it. I can't finish the cross-examination without establishing a reason. So I'll just have to prove it with evidence.
But I did not kill him, you have to believe me.
So you were claiming that you did hide all the bodies. Is that correct?
Oui, that's right.
If we're to believe you, Mr. Armstrong, you must tell the court everything. You must make it clear to the identity of the man who ordered you to do this.
He's already confessed this much. Might as well stop dancing around the real issue.
Yeah, but he really doesn't want to tell us who the killer is.
And sock it to him, Nick.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I'm assuming it has to be Le Tigre. That's the only thing that I can think of. It's either that... Oh, well, there's nothing really in terms of evidence I can think of. like, maybe his loan contract? Wherever that is now. I don't know, I'm just gonna go with El Tigre and work our way from there. Sounds good to me, I'm on a roll. Let's dance. Let's end this dance. Let's end this dance of Ring Around the Rosie, Mr. Armstrong. This is the man you've been referring to.
Ah,
Who is that? I feel I've seen him somewhere before.
Oh, whoops daisy. That's on me. Give me a moment. That was just me unplugging my phone charger. Let me just make sure that we're still up and running. There we go. Everything should be in order now. Oh, I don't know. Maybe a month ago in this very courtroom? This man is Furio Tigre. He's the manager of a loan office called Tenda Lenda. There's no point in trying to hide the truth anymore, Mr. Armstrong. I know you couldn't go against Mr. Tigre, not at least while you had this on you. This'll be the loan contract I was talking about. $500,000 loan from a black market loan shark. And you had no way of paying it back, did you? That's why you were forced to do anything that this man told you.
oui, it is as you say.
Mr. Armstrong,
Le Tiger, he told me he was going to use my restaurant for a business rendezvous. On la day in question, meeting la victim to demand that he repay his loan. I do not know why it happened like that. I did just what he told me to do. I had no choice. I carried la body and la inconsistent Maggie out la dining area into the kitchen. After that, I just tried to forget what I had seen.
I think we can now safely say that the man who forced your hand was Mr. Furio Tigre.
I do have one question for you, Mr. Armstrong. The poison and the lottery ticket were found in the defendant's apron. What was that your doing as well?
No, I knew nothing about that. Making it look like it was Maggie who had done it, I was not. It is la despicable. Or la despicable.
I know. I only did. I didn't do. I passed French. I didn't do too well at it though.
Mr. Gatto, we will summon this Furio Tigre as a witness. I doubt that can be arranged today, so I will adjourn for now. Proceedings will continue tomorrow.
Okay, I didn't realize there was a third day to this. Oh, never mind.
30 minutes.
What?
The trial will go on. I'll see to it myself. I need half an hour to get that guy on the stand. And a minute more.
How the?
Don't sit back and relax yet, Wright. No one knows if that chef is really telling the truth or not. This trial could still go either way.
Very well. Your request is granted, Mr. Gatto. We'll resume once Mr. Tigre is ready to take the stand. Until then, court is adjourned for a 30-minute recess.
I believe I will. Oh, whoops daisy. Back out. We'll keep going. It's only been an hour. We'll do the whole trial.
So we're finally gonna see the tiger on the stand. Almost got this case won now, Nick.
I wish I could agree.
Huh?
When I cross-examined Mr. Armstrong just now, he said he was just doing what the tiger told him to do. Gatto picked up on it, remember? He pointed out that without proof, we don't know if what he testified is the truth.
You mean you think Mr. Armstrong was lying?
I don't know. But if that's the line the prosecution takes, we could be in trouble. I get the feeling that we don't have the case-making evidence we're going to need. Hey, pal. Detective Gumshoe.
What are you so jumpy about, Detective? Your hair's standing on end.
Hey, that's the pot calling the kettle black, little Miss Topknot.
It's not a top knot.
Never mind about the hair. Just calm down, alright?
I can't stand still when I don't have a job to do. I get kind of wound up. Yeah.
No kidding.
Gotta have something you need. You gotta have something you need me to do, pal. Anything.
Well,
Hey, I'm gonna take a jog back down to the precinct. I can get some prints analyzed for you if you've got an hour.
an hour? The trial will have reconvened by then.
But Nick, we still don't have a really decisive piece of evidence, right?
True. Without some kind of trump card to pull out of our bag, we're really stuck. You said you could get some fingerprint analysis done in an hour?
Yeah, you bet.
In that case, would you mind checking the prints on this for me? It's gotta be the bottle. You're going back to the station anyway. Could you find out whose prints are on this?
Ah, hey. Small bottle I gave back to you this morning, right?
Yeah, I think it's time we solved the last mystery of who the prints on it belong to.
Sure thing, pal. Actually, that's been gnawing at me too.
Small bottle given to Gumshoe.
Okay, I'll get this off to the lab right away. Just make sure you don't lose the case before I get back.
This is pretty much the final showdown, I guess.
It's time to separate the phonies from the real guys.
Here we go. Right.
Court will now reconvene, Mr. Gatto. Did you find Mr. Furio Tigre?
I even tamed him for you. It was a free cup job, no problem.
Tamed him? The guy's name's Furio Tigre, but come on.
He's pretty lively. Be careful, he still bites.
Very well, please show Mr. Tigre to the stand. Witness, please stick.
Well, you heard that.
Ah,
Don't hide under the table, Maya, unless there's room for me down there too.
Would you mind?
what you say to me?
Nothing, I didn't say nothing. Hey, honest.
Who could have guessed that fear would induce a bad Brooklyn accent in the judge?
I got business to take care of, you hear me? Who the hell called me into this hole? Was it you, Spiky?
Do I go lower down? Was it you, Spiky? Of course not. It was the judge. Well, that's a rarity. We never see the judge without his, but we never see his actual chair that he sits on. It's very austere. Your Honor?
Oh dear, I'm seen to drop my pen. Where on earth was it? Don't mind me, just carry on as with the proceedings as normal.
That's it. We're doomed.
Maybe yous didn't hear me. I said, who the hell was it that called me in here?
There's no need to shout. We can all hear you.
What you'd say?
There's no point struggling. You're caught in a snare. The relentless snare of the law. And if I'm the one who hauled you in, and I am the one who hauled you in.
Too cool.
Don't let him get the better of you, Nick.
Let's start with the basics. You know about the incident in question, correct?
Incident? Oh, incident? I don't know nothing about no stinking incident, Mask Boy. Yeah, gotta do the Joey Wheeler voice. Let's talk like this.
You mean you didn't attend the previous trial of Maggie Bird?
Maggie who? I got important things to do than watch damn courtroom dramas.
Of course. Well, perhaps you could give your testimony then. Please tell us about what you did on the day of the murder.
Phoenix, right? You was the one who set this up, didn't you? You was gonna regret the day you ruffled the tiger's fur. You know what I'm saying?
Oh. Maybe I should have brought a diaper with me today.
Get a grip, Nick.
Well, or you should have wore a brown suit. Hey, Preston, maybe Preston could have helped you out. Okay, first one.
I don't know nothing about no murder. I was tied up with business in December last year. Spent all my time in the office. I got whales lined up to borrow cash from tender lender every single day. You want to check my alibi? Just ask Violetta.
Ah, I found my pen. Very well then, Mr. Wright. You may begin your cross-examination. But what is it? Please, witness, if you could refrain from shouting like that.
I know the kind of games this guy in the blue plays. That lowlife ain't no lawyer. He just punches away at stupid details till he wins. Lowlife? Me? Listen up, smarty. Every time you ask me something that doesn't relate to this case, I'm gonna bill you $50,000, and you's gonna borrow the cash from me.
That's one loan contract I refuse to sign.
Don't think it ain't gonna hurt when you tangle with a tiger.
I love a good spectator sport.
Just a minute. That's not really,
The witness is, how can I put it, a hungry tiger roaming the urban jungle. Get on his bad side and he'll bite everyone's head off. Yours too.
Very well, I have no choice but to impose a penalty system here.
You's better be listening. I got a business to take care of. Big business. If I don't split now, I ain't gonna catch my bus.
Oh, so he didn't come on his mic and his little scooter.
The court will now impose a penalty for any irrelevant pressing of the witness today. Keep that in mind as you begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright.
Well, it might make this case a bit shorter then.
You can do it, Nick.
Come out from under there already, would you, Maya? Okay. Don't know nothing about no murder. I was tied up with business last year. Spent all my time in my office. I got whales lined up to borrow cash from tender lender every day. And check my alibi, just ask Violetta. I think I'll press this. By Violetta, you're talking about the Cadaverini families?
Yeah. You don't want to cross them or you's gonna wind up sleeping with the fishes. Once the Godfather finds out you's been dragging Violetta through the mud, he'll do you in.
Sorry, I couldn't quite put all together towards Sorry, I couldn't quite put it all together towards the end there.
He said that just like Violetta, didn't he?
I have a feeling that might not be the right time to probe him about her. I have a feeling this might not be the right time to probe about her. Too dangerous to press without knowing where he might end up. Better just focus on gathering information for the moment.
Now then, Mr. Tigre, would you mind repeating your testimony from the beginning, please?
My time ain't free, you hear? You better remember that. If I miss that bus, someone's gonna pay.
Right. So just press everything, but if we get the option to press more, we do not take it unless we need to. I don't buy that you haven't even heard of the incident that occurred at Tribulations.
Heh. Who's got a big mouth, right? Who's trying to say I was in some sort of mob hit? Is that what you trying to say? Where's your proof then?
The evidence, yeah, well,
For an attorney to make an accusation in court, he must have some evidence. That's from loan shark to lawyer, beginner's guide. Yeah?
I see you're the studious type, Mr. Tigre. Very good.
Why don't you ask him to represent you sometime, Wright?
what should I do? I don't think I'll press, I'll leave it here. Too damn dangerous to things without knowing where they might end up. Better focus on information. I know nothing about no murder. Right, okay, I was tied up in business last year. Try and get some information out of him. And work our way from there. You sure about that? We're talking about it 1 month ago, you know.
You see these...
Oh, sorry, no. Wrong voice.
You see these teeth? That's how sharp my secretary is.
Sharp? Is he talking about Violetta?
She writes everything in my scheduler. December, mainly in the office. That's what it says, so that's where I was.
That seems like a rather sketchy schedule.
Oh, there he goes again. The tiger did all December isn't the issue. As important as what he was doing on the day of the murder, so now what? Leave it all for now and then we'll press. We'll see what turns up. So I take it that you get a lot of customers at your black market loan office.
Eh, it's tough for the little guys these days. Small businesses are feeling the pinch. Bosses at companies like that want to get in good with me. I'm their best friend.
I see, that's very admirable of you, witness.
Yeah, well, tend to lender's motto is win through compromise, you know.
Win through compromise? What is that supposed to mean?
Compromise the customer to win. That's what it means. You got it?
Best friends like you, who needs enemies?
Yeah, let me spell it out for yous all.
You don't
You don't pay me back within 3 days, Spiky. I take what's due in your stupid hair. You follow what I'm saying?
but I'm not one of your customers. I don't think so. I think it was the previous statement we should have pressed, but we'll just find out. Right. Okay, and I think I'll press this statement first. Mr. Tigre,
What do yous want?
if you wouldn't mind going into a bit more detail.
This is a dead end, Trident, you know it. Remember the rules.
No, it's essential that we establish the witness's alibi accurately.
I agree.
The victim was killed on December 3rd. You were in the office that day too?
Maybe yous ain't listening. Of course I was. I never set foot outside. I had a meeting all day with a bunch of cats wanting to do business with me. I ain't never seen that young kid before.
I do believe the witness's last statement was important. Mr. Gatto, could you please,
Mr. Tigre, court asks you to add that last statement to your testimony.
Don't let an animal beat you. Be a man, Your Honor. Ask him yourself. Well, you know, he is very threatening. I mean, that tan job, well, it's probably one of the worst ones I've ever seen. The man is literally orange. Days you was talking about, I was in the office, I ain't never seen that kid before. I think I better do this, and I don't want to press him in case I get punished, so... I want to keep it going, we're on a roll. I'm going to use this and present. Good. Right. Mr. Tigre. You claim you didn't know Mr. Glen Elk. It appears that Mr. Elk knew you. Eh, what? Mr. Elk left this little note on his calendar. Meet with the tiger. And the date? December 3rd.
December 3rd? That's the day of the murder.
So, Mr. Tiger, or Mr. Tigre, I submit you did indeed know one Mr. Glen Elk. Because on the very day of the incident, you met with him. Hang on, woman, just gotta clear my throat. Much better. I thought he was going to say something, so I had to... Oh, he doing his roaring.
Not bad. You was actually not bad.
Sorry?
I was just messing with you to see how good you were. Hear that, Nick? He said you're not that bad.
That's one compliment I can do without. Plus, he's blind for his teeth.
Witness, please remember that you're under oath. Lies will not be tolerated.
You calling me a liar? Is that what you doing?
So you're saying that your claim to never have seen this kid before is the truth?
Yeah, I said I'm dead serious. You better believe that's the truth.
And I'd say that gives me time to enjoy another cup of pure black magic. That is while you testify for the court again, Mr. Tigre.
Oh yes, wouldn't you mind indulging the court, witness?
Never actually met the victim? That's gotta be a lie right there. It's time I nailed this guy. In another context, that'd be different, but okay. If you're into doing yourself, I guess, yeah, go for it. Sure, there's probably a fetish for that, unfortunately. I ain't no liar. I ain't never met Glen Elk. There was some lame guy with that name, though. Wanted to borrow cash from me. Set up a meeting with a guy at my office, 10 to lender. Waited around for him, but he ain't never showed up. I ain't never been to that Tribulations joint you's here.
I see, that all seems perfectly logical. You had arranged a meeting with the victim, but he didn't show up.
I heard it's pretty hard to keep appointments when you're dead.
Very well, you may begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor. Didn't I tell you you got a big deal going down today? I ain't gonna make my bus now, and I'm gonna have to take the express train. It was gonna going straight to you, right?
Hmm.
I don't know dragging people in for testimony. I don't know how it works. I don't know. I don't think you can just pick people off the street, you know, dramatically. No, I never met no Glen Elk. There was some lame guy from the same... What the same name was he to borrow money from me? It goes the same way the last one did. And yet, your name was written on the victim's calendar. Get that horse calendar out my face. I'm the tiger, not a lame horse, you porcupine. Tigers like me eat horses like that for breakfast.
No, no, witness. Witnesses aren't allowed to eat evidence. Not that they ever would. Well, there was a case once where a young lad ate,
Anyway, aha, references. If you never met the victim before, how do you explain the note he left? Okay, so now we can press freely, it seems. It's very strange. According to the manager of the firm where he worked, Detective, December 3rd was the date he had to repay his loan. He wasn't due to discuss borrowing money, but the repaying what he owed.
Oh yeah, maybe you was right. Whatever it was going down at the beginning of December.
So you did meet Mr. Elk then?
Hey, Wright. You might want to cool your jets a second.
So your meeting wasn't supposed to be at Tribulations then?
Why would I go to a dump like that? I want to talk with my clients. I got an office decked out for the job. I got the best punching bag you ever saw in there.
Not exactly a professional office you got there, but you know. So you were in your office the day on the day in question.
Waited around for him, but he never showed.
He didn't show up?
What do you think, Trite? Let's see. How does a dead man get from a French restaurant to a loan shark's office?
And you yourself didn't go to Tribulations.
What are you trying to pin on me here?
Murder?
Why don't you come down to my office? We can chat about this thing my way, yeah? I got the best punching bag you've ever seen in there.
No need. I'm good, thanks.
Listen up. I ain't got nothing more to say except this.
Well, I know what the answer is. I think I have the evidence to knock him on this, but we'll see. Never? Not even once?
Not even once. I was in the office the day that went down. I didn't put no poison in no kid's coffee. Capiche? Think he really didn't meet Glen Alec?
Not likely. I'm convinced this guy's behind the whole thing.
So you mean that whole testimony you just gave was a lie?
Of course, we can't afford to give him time to think of ways to plug the leaks in it. I've got to nail him while I still can. Okay, and I think I know where it is. I believe it's this. Yeah, we're keeping the roll going. Not made a cock-up so far. Come on. Mr. Tigre, is there something you'd like to tell the court about these matches?
Matches? What you talking about?
We found them in your office at Tender Lender. They're from that restaurant. I don't know, do restaurants still do this with the matches? I won't mind it.
What?
You've really never been to Tribulations before. Why have you got a book of restaurant matches doing on your... Why was a book of restaurant matches doing on your desk? Or what was it doing on your desk?
Now, you've been snooping around in my stuff too, wise guy. What are you ball and chain? Ain't no broad control in me.
Hold on. Well, witness, I think it's time you started telling the truth, don't you?
And another raw for good measure.
I'm sorry, terribly sorry. Forgive me.
I ain't no pussycat. I don't go back on what I said. But okay. How was it that joint that day?
What?
Well, listen good, alright? I might have been there, but I still never met that kid.
Well, well. Looks like an order just came in for another testimony.
I'm this close to proving it was him. He did meet Glen Elk that day, and he did put poison in his coffee. He must have. Okay, let's find out why he was at Tribulations.
I was supposed to meet with a kid at a restaurant that afternoon.
When I opened the door of the joint, I saw one ugly scene. Guy laid out over the table, stiff as concrete. I figured if the place wasn't hot already, it was gonna be, so I split. Heard the cop sirens on my way out, I went straight back to my office.
I see. You didn't actually meet with him in the end, then. Well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please.
Yes, Your Honor. Hold it. If I wait around here any longer, I ain't gonna even make the normal express. No more stupid questions.
No problem. Anytime Trite presses you on something irrelevant, I'll see he pays a penalty.
Mr. Gatto, that's my job.
Your job is to slam that damn little hammer of yours and call a guilty verdict. So do it.
Yes, sir.
The special express. The special express ain't cheap, right? So just so you know when you're paying. Oh man, doesn't the rule of law mean anything around here? Well then. Supposed to meet with the kid at the restaurant in the afternoon. When I opened the door to the joint, I saw one ugly scene. When the guy was laid out with the table stiff as concrete. Guess I figured the place was hot already. It wasn't good. I figured the place was hot already. It was going to be, so I split. I heard the police sirens. Try and press him on stuff. So the meeting wasn't due to take place at 10 to Lender at all then. The kid was making a fuss about coming into the office. It's always that way when I want to talk about repayments. Even though I got the best punching bag you've ever seen in there if I have any issues. Maybe it's because of all the punching that people are scared to come. So that's why you decided to meet at Tribulations.
You're going over old ground again, Trite.
Sorry?
You just earned yourself a penalty. Now suck it down.
Aww.
You'll suck down the penalty, Mr. Wright, and you will like it.
Thank you, sir. May I have another? Right. I thought it was going to be like what it was last time with the pressing. I feel like this statement might be useful, but I don't want to get a penalty. I think let's try and go over new ground. So you didn't actually set foot inside the restaurant then? Yeah, the tiger's a busy cat. I don't hang around for no one. Ain't got time to be caught up in no murder investigation. So when exactly did you pick up the matches?
There are matches just inside the front door. Our detective friend wound up in trouble with the chef after about taking 5 books home.
Poor gumshoe. It's almost enough to make a man cry. Got sounds on my way out and I went straight back to my office. Okay. You went straight back. Did a bout of guilt suddenly hit you for what you did? What are you trying to say? You trying to tell me you ain't never been guilty of nothing?
We all have our crosses to bear. We all have to swallow the dark secrets we hide. Like this.
The courtroom's not exactly the place to talk about dark secrets, is it?
Seems you've done it again, Mr. Wright. Of a relevant line of questioning. I must impose a penalty accordingly.
How about a penalty for those 2 jokers with the garbage they keep coming up with?
Well, Nick, what do you think?
He's running out of ways to avoid the truth. I need to press him fast before he has time to think things through. Gotta come right back at him with a contradiction.
Be careful when you press him, though. You'll get penalized. Okay?
Okay. So I'm gonna go with this second statement, if it's not that last one. I want to see what he says about the actual scene of the crime. Luckily scene, what do you mean?
The witness has already told us, Trite, which makes this question irrelevant.
But...
I limit myself to 17 cups of coffee during a trial. That's the rule. You better limit the number of times you take a penalty, Trite. Or your guts will look like the inside of a chimney. Ashen.
Don't make me burn you again, Mr. Wright.
Guess I shouldn't have pressed him on that. Guess I'm gonna make that special express train after all. If I was the El Tigre.
So to recap, this ugly scene you saw was,
Guide was laid out over the table, stiff as concrete. I've got to press him on this then, haven't I? You mean you saw Glen Elk's dead body? I guess I did, but only saw it from behind. He was wearing some raggedy bit of cloth he called a hat. And what time was this? I don't know. Huh? You know what winds me up more than anything else in the world? Watches. Round watches. I ain't gonna pollute my paws with some ticking henpecker.
out of interest, Mr. Tigre, what winds you up the second most?
Huh? What you think? Square watches. This guy for real? Look, all I need to know is that something bad was going down in that place. So I feel like I have to present some evidence, so I can't figure anything else out. It's got to be on one of these statements then, hasn't it? The third or the fourth one. I feel like it's this one because... like, how was he able to see the body? You know what I mean? I don't have any relevant evidence towards that. Like, the only thing is the floor plans, and that's not going to be the thing, because you see the border. He wouldn't have been able to go in, so how did he see the body from there unless he saw it out the window? That's the only thing I can think of, genuinely. The only thing I can think of is, how was he able to see the body with the floor plans? Otherwise, I have nothing. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. Maybe the crime photo? That'll be my second guess. Well, these are the only two. I'll go with the floor plans and then we'll go with the crime photo. It's probably going to be the crime photo. Really? Oh. Well, apart from when I don't get, you know, ham-fisted, I'm doing pretty well for myself. Oh, whoops, damn it, sorry.
No one escapes the tiger's clutches.
Well, I'm something of a lie-detecting pro. And no one escapes the Phoenix's clutches. I think it's time we got something straight.
What's this, Trite? New line of irrelevant questioning?
These are floor plans of the scene of the crime. You say you were standing at the entrance, Mr. Tigre. And there, your field of vision would have covered an area something like this.
Indeed, the witness would have had a clear view of the victim's seat.
Isn't that what I just said? I saw the back of the kid's head. Unfortunately for you, that's not possible. The court would think back, you'll remember that between each of these tables is a tall partition.
Why, that's true.
Now look at the plans again. The truth is painfully obvious. In the entrance, the field of vision of any customer walking in ends here. Oh, we got him sweating. We got him on the run. So, from the entrance of Tribulations, you couldn't have seen the victim's seat. But you did see the victim that day because you met with him.
Wrong. Have you forgotten the day? Have you forgotten the old man's testimony yesterday? The victim was alone at his table.
But the defense just proved that point to be mute. The victim witnessed Mr. Kudo was not by Glenelg. Or the victim witnessed by Mr. Kudo was not Glenelg, but a fake.
What?
In order to have Mr. Kudo falsely testify, the real killer posed as the victim he had just killed and acted out as a charade.
That will do. This trial's gone on long enough without the obvious question being answered. Who exactly was this real killer who impersonated the victim? You may say the killer murdered Glenelg, then impersonated him in a performance for Mr. Kudo. In that case, Mr. Wright, reveal the identity of the criminal to the court.
I mean, it has to be him, right? It's him or... It could be him or Violetta, but it's gotta be him. Because we have to believe what Maggie said, that he poured it in there. Obviously, the killer is Mr. Furio Tigre. No one else could have done it.
What? Well, witness?
Heh. Oh, now that's cute. You think you can pin this on the tiger. Maybe you don't understand. The tiger is the king of the jungle. So I dares you to say it again. Come on, you got the guts. You can't.
You can't threaten me, Mr. Tigre. It's the defense. Go ahead and tell the witness, Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright?
Sounds to me like it must be you, old man. You've got the guts, I'll give you that.
Mr. Wright, do not leave me to handle this alone.
Perhaps I can end this embarrassment.
Mr. Gatto?
Just go back over there to Mr. Kudo's testimony. Let's go back over Mr. Kudo's testimony one more time. The old man didn't see just the victim. Oh, no, no, no.
The serving girl brought the Javasino and she put something in it. There's no question about it. She's very conspicuously put some white powder in there.
Was the victim he saw the real victim or not? It doesn't matter. The fact remains he saw the accused put the poison into his coffee.
Yes, if it was the waitress who poisoned the coffee.
Very impressive, Mr. Gatto. I'm waiting for my absence to launch your attack.
Found your pen at last, Wright.
It was, in my pocket. But, anyway. Mr. Kudo witnessed two people that day. Saw the victim, supposed Glenelg, and the waitress from behind. I mean, that's what he would have liked to do to her from behind, but, that's besides the point.
Yes, your point, Mr. Wright.
And the conclusion is obvious. If this Glenelg was really the killer in disguise, And surely it's possible the waitress was also part of the show.
What? You mean the waitress was an imposter as well?
The defendant, Miss Bird, fell unconscious immediately after the incident. Also, someone used her fainting to hatch an elaborate plan to pin the murder on her. So,
Who on earth was it? Who was this waitress and Mr. Kudo witnessed?
well, there's only one other woman that we can suppose it was. Has to be Violetta.
Who is this woman?
Her name, don't know where that came from. Her name is Viola Cadavarini. She's the employee of Tender Lender. He was making a big mistake. Don't you know who Violetta's grandfather is? You better be going home in an armored truck tonight if you knows what I mean.
Stop shaking, Nick.
Where was I? Yes, the defendant, Miss Bird, has stated the following.
Well, when I took the coffee over to the victim's table, it's true there was another customer in the restaurant. She was sort of creepy. And she had a kind of cackling laugh.
There are just too many contradictions in this case. The second man at the victim's table that nobody but Miss Bird seemed to have seen. The earpiece worn by the victim in his left ear when his eardrum was ruptured. And the radio show that he was supposedly listening to half an hour after it was over. There's only one logical explanation that clears all these contradictions. The whole incident took place twice. Once for real, and once for show. And Mr. Furio Tigre, the only person who could have committed the crime, is you.
Well, witness, what have you got to say?
That's cute.
Sorry?
He was alright. I could do with a guy like you around. What do you mean? Okay, I'm in on this game. I'm gonna have to charter a jet to get me to my meeting now, but, I'm gonna give you one more thing to think about before I go. Something to think about? Who's got it all wrapped up nice, huh, Wright? But you's missed out on one real important thing. That can't be. I was in the joint that day, and I met this kid. I met that kid, too. But I couldn't have poisoned him, you's here.
What? You really expect us to believe that now, Mr. Tigre?
What a troublemaker.
Troublemaker?
Looks like we're going to need another one for the road. One more steaming cup of hot testimony.
Indeed. Witness, will you explain yourself to the court? I'll give you one more chance to testify. What happened that day at Tribulations between yourself and the victim?
Well, here goes nothing.
Yeah, I loaned El Cash $100,000. That day he was due to have we were due to have a little chat. The kid hit his payback date, see? So anyway, he tells me he got no way to pay up. I'm about to flatten the guy when he starts screaming. Yeah, I won $500,000. He got lucky, you know, real lucky. If that waitress hadn't done what she done, everything would have been over.
Now I see the principal amount you loaned to Mr. Relic was $50,000.
Yeah, well, you's got the VIG to take into account. Interest builds up fast, you know.
That's faster than fast. $100,000 is twice his principal.
And the repayment deadline was on the 3rd of December, the day of the incident in question.
Yeah, he was one lucky kid. He got $500,000 just in time. So's I ain't got a reason to kill the kid. If I ain't got no motive, you ain't got no case.
His motive? He has to have one, but what was it? It's gotta be something to do with the CD, of course. Again, Godot's not decided to bollock me, so I'm assuming I can press. Do you have any way of paying the loan back? The fool was a gambler. He said he couldn't give it up till he landed a big win, so I agreed to help him.
Help him? You?
Kept hitting him with ideas for ways he could get a big win. The guy kept losing. So you were helping him for his sake or yours? Went through compromise. Yous help me, I help yous. What's the difference, huh? I don't believe this.
Nick, would anyone really loan money to someone they thought was unreliable? Like, for example, if it were you, I'd only loan you about $5 max.
Thanks a lot, Maya. That day he was due to have a little chat, payback stuff. So, how much were you expecting him to pay you back on that day? What yous think? The whole package? 100,000 including interest.
That's a real heavyweight punch.
Once a client misses a repayment, you call the whole loan in. You wanna make it in my world? That's all yous gotta know.
How many times has Mr. Rugg been late for his repayments?
Once. And how much was he supposed to pay back every month? $50.
Sounds like Mr. Elk was in a real sticky spot.
Yeah, at $50 a month, he'd never be able to pay that huge loan off. Yeah, it's almost like, why did he make that loan in the first place? So anyway, he tells me he's not got no way to pay up. How much did he have left on his debt? You just wanted in round figures? About $100,000. That's the whole amount.
We're talking about a guy who had 50 cents in his wallet. Or 58 cents in his wallet.
What, you was telling me he wasn't even gonna pay for the coffee?
He certainly seemed to have been a brave man, this Mr. Elk.
That guy was smooth, I tell you. Real smooth. You'll have your money in less than 5 minutes, that's what he says to me. The guy then calls me the Tender Tiger. He was skating on thin ice with me. Had a flat in the guy and he starts screaming. And was that because the guy just won the lottery? It was his last chance at a big win.
You can confirm this with the ticket in question.
That's it.
The Millionaire Radio Show starts at 1:30 and runs for 10 minutes. That fixes the time you two met with some accuracy.
And the whole scene acted out again 30 minutes later. Also that Mr. Kudo could see it. I can still see the kid's face now. I ain't never gonna forget it. Yeah, $1,500,000. You got real lucky. Real lucky. Was there anyone else there at the restaurant at the time? I don't remember. There was no one there. I'll wear that ridiculous tiger shirt for a month. Mr. Armstrong and Maggie, if I'm right, and Viola Cadaverini were all there at the time.
So the victim had intended to repay you from his lottery winnings from the beginning?
Seems that way to me.
Bet you wouldn't normally expect to win the lottery, would you?
The undying belief that your next roll will end the worst losing streak you've ever had. That's what defines a true gambler.
Makes it sound so cool.
Don't be tempted, Nick. You haven't got the willpower for it.
All I know is the kid took a shot and he got lucky in the end. A waitress, you mean? Go with the glasses in the defendant's chair. Who else could I mean? If she ain't got in the way, things would have been bada bing, bada boom. I know, over and done with. I think I should push a little further on this. What exactly are you implying the defendant did?
How about you go ask Four Eyes and about that $500,000 ticket? She wanted it so bad, she poisoned Glen Elk's coffee.
Unlikely, Fury. Your word hasn't held water lately, though, Mr. Tigre.
Let's not forget this witness was actually at the scene, Trite.
Law don't exactly agree with some of the deals I sent down. I couldn't be there when the cops showed up, so I split.
I see.
Your Honor, the witness's last few statements are worth two good cups of coffee.
I concur, Mr. Gatto. You'll amend your testimony accordingly, witness.
Huh. So that's what you was after, Phoenix, right?
Thanks to what she did, my business with that kid was over. Tiger's trying to pin the crime on Maggie. If I ask him what he saw, he's only going to damage our case. What do you mean things would have been over and done with?
You were all there or what? I'm talking about the cash. I was there to get my $100,000 back. That's all. I'm a businessman. It was all coming together before the waitress got in the way.
As far as I can tell from the front of the witness from the witness's testimony, other than recouping the loan, Mr. Tigre had no motive for killing the victim. Well, Mr. Wright, happy with your testimony, or would you like it amended?
I'll have it amended, please. I'm not going anywhere with this testimony as it stands. Your Honor, the defense would like to have the testimony amended.
Very well. The witness, you will amend your testimony to reflect your recent statements, please.
After 100,000, I have no reason to kill the guy. I mean, I know he had it on him. That's the only thing I can think of. I'll present and see where this takes me. So you just intended to get back $100,000, Mr. El Goju, correct?
I loaned the guy the cash, that's my right.
Unfortunately for Mr. Elg, I don't believe $100,000 is what you were really after.
Objection!
What are you getting at, Trite? What else would a moneylender be after other than money?
Oh, the moneylender was after money, but money in a totally different league. The kind of money that a single disc would fetch.
What is that?
A computer virus, Your Honor. A virus called MC Bomber.
A computer virus? What does one of those do?
Computer virus is a program that wreaks havoc on the insides of a computer.
A computer? What does one of those do?
I guess the beard isn't the only part of his honor that is from the Stone Age. Hey, there's no point in dissing a man for his beard. Like, at the time, I've openly said, when I go grey, I'm gonna be having like, I'm gonna go full Gandalf and become a wizard. I'm gonna buy a big stick and start growing just the whole beard out and the long hair. I'm gonna look fabulous. I'll explain it to you later, Your Honor. Right now, this is the important point. The virus, like MC Bomber, would be worth several $1 million on the black market.
Several $1 million?
Lending money with no hope of ever seeing repayment would normally be bad for business. But in this case, the very fact that Glenelg had no way to repay the money is crucial.
What?
Glenelg was a programmer, a highly skilled programmer. That skill was the collateral Mr. Elg put up in order to borrow the money.
Objection!
You're trying to suggest the witness's motive was to hold that, was to get hold of that program.
Exactly.
The witness may have poor fashion sense, but he is by no means an idiot, Trite. A man like him could get his hands on $1 million without resorting to murder.
Yeah. Of course he could, provided he had time. But what if he had needed the money right then? When the pressure's on, the luxury of choice tends to disappear. Sorry, I talk about lenders and tends, mixing up my words.
Seem to have a logical conclusion for this theory, Mr. Wright. Would you care to share it with us?
I'll try. Why did Mr. Tigre need money to a tune of $1 million?
'Cause he in debt.
Just checking everything else before I, you know, show him the goods. In December of last year, you found yourself in need of a huge amount of money. About 6 months ago, you were involved in a traffic accident, weren't you? An incident involving a scooter in which a young person was injured. She was taken to the hospital and underwent surgery.
How much of this do you know?
These medical papers document the treatment of the young woman in question. According to these, her operation cost is $1 million. And yet, when the repayment was due last month, you somehow managed to pay it in full.
$1 million? Preposterous sum. Someone should sue these HMOs.
No one would pay a bill like that. The Medicinal Association got wind of it. Hospital would end up as dead as the morgue.
Alright. But Mr. Tigre had no choice but to pay. Because his very life depended on it.
Hold on. You say his life depended on it, Mr. Wright?
Well, just a little bit. Indeed it did, simply because the injured woman was none other than Viola Cadaverini.
Did you say Cadaverini?
Furio Tigre, mob boss and in charge of all underworld activities in the city, and doting grandfather to his precious Violetta, also known as Viola Cadaverini. Your life was in danger unless you paid compensation to your boss, correct? Makes sense. You were desperate to acquire $1 million Bruto Cadaverini demanded of you. So desperate, in fact, that you decided to sacrifice Glen Ellen's life to pay your debt. On the day of the murder, Mr. Tigre's sole intention was to get his hands on this CD. Glen Elk had no way of paying back the $100,000 and Mr. Tigre knew it. But then a miracle happened. The kind that Mr. Tigre would prefer to say never happened. But he can't, and neither can I.
A lottery win?
Exactly. On the 11th hour, Mr. Elk won $500,000 on the lottery, which left Mr. Tigre with no way of getting his hands on that all-important CD. At least, no legitimate way. Right. So he resorted to illegitimate means.
That's crazy.
He murdered Glen Elk and then made his move. To frame Maggie Bird for the crime. Mr. Tigre posed as Glen Elk. When Viola Cadaverini played the role of Miss Bird. And then they reenacted the whole thing in order to establish a witness. Oh, yeah, a witness, sorry. I said waitress. I was, again, similar words. Yes, evil Phoenix, right Phoenix. How you doing, by the way? Not seen you in a bit. Ugh. The witness being the one we all heard testify yesterday, Mr. Victor Kudo.
Like I said, Trite, that's crazy. No one could pull off a stunt like that. For starters, there's no way the chef could have been kept in the dark about it.
Oh, I agree. But Mr. Armstrong was in on it from the very beginning. You forgotten already, Mr. Gatto? Mr. Armstrong owed the witness money too. About $500,000, in fact. He had no choice but to go along with Mr. Tigre's plan. I want to know how Mr. Tigre's loaning all this money to people very quickly. Like, the fact that he's got $600,000 at least is roaming around. Oh well, no, he's got at least a few $100,000 are roaming around already. Kinda suggests that he's got a bit of cash to deal anyway. So why would you need to be, a loan shark in the first place? You just put on a good show, Spiky. You just want to stay alive in the loan shark business, you gotta be careful. You saying I dressed up like that kid, create a witness, and frame someone? If I did something crazy like that, I'd leave a trail as bright as my shirt. Or an FBI agent. I ain't dumb enough to do something sloppy like that. I agree. You do? Despite your appearance, you are very careful. That's why you took more than one precaution. One more trick to make sure Miss Bird had no way out.
What? Another one, Mr. Wright?
Well, when you're in that sort of a thing, stack the deck, I guess, in your favor.
Interesting. Why don't you fill us all in, Trite? What was the trick you say performed by Mr. Tigre to frame the accused?
I want to say this. I really want to say this, but I don't think there's anything else. What was the trick you say Mr. Tigre performed to frame the accused? Oh, to frame the accused. Never mind, it changes it. I assume it could be to impersonate me. It's either the bottle, but that wouldn't really do anything since we already talked about it. It's either the cyanide or the badge. The badge makes more sense because he's talking about framing, I guess. I think I'm gonna go with the badge. Both make sense, but it's definitely gonna be the badge, I think. Well, it makes more sense to be the badge. I'm not sure at all. Second guessing myself now. We've got two chances. We'll go with the badge and then we'll go with the cyanide. I'm on a roll.
What on earth is that? What an insult to think anyone would be fooled by such a childish imitation.
Consider yourself insulted then, Your Honor. Mr. Tigre, you didn't just pose as the victim on the day in question. 1 month ago in this very court, you posed as me.
What? That's the
truth.
But the witness looks nothing like you, Mr. Wright.
Well, take off all of the, fake tan, get himself a nice suit. I think you can brush up quite nicely.
Although, now that I think about it, it was you, wasn't it? No doubt it was you standing in here this very court a mere month ago. The Phoenix Wright who put the most disreputable shabby defense I've ever seen.
Here we go.
Can you prove that, Gramps? Prove the attorney who represented this accused here a month ago was this man. You prepared to take to the stand and testify it was him.
Hey?
Hey, Forget about it, yeah? I wouldn't do something like that, not me. You made a mistake, right? It was someone else, huh? Have you no pride, sir?
This isn't a matter of pride. In case you didn't know, Trite, here in court, we deal with people's lives.
Mr. Gatto is right.
Your Honor?
Speaking for myself, I'm absolutely convinced. The attorney in question was the witness standing before me now. However, I preside over this court as the judge, with a vested power to hand down a verdict. Someone in my position cannot be swayed by a memory without evidence to support it.
Oh well. Or recuse yourself and we get another judge in and we extend the trial an extra day. And then he's screwed that way. But I guess we have to wrap up the story here.
In the defense, if the defense has no further evidence, the court will now excuse the witness. The circumstances surrounding Mr. Tigre are dubious for sure, but not conclusive.
But we've come so far.
You say he impersonated Glen Alec. You say he impersonated you. But none of that adds up to a murder charge. You don't have a shred of evidence that the witness poisoned the victim's coffee.
Yeah.
Heh.
Oh, hey. Sucks to be you, right? Don't mess with a tiger. You're gonna get mauled. You's got that? All we managed to do here is chase him around a little bit. We're so close to getting him to admit his own guilt. Come on, Gumshoe, I need you.
Looks like I won't be needing a refill.
We need a helpful police detective, or a hapless police detective, to come to our rescue. I just had one more piece of evidence. One more piece of evidence, and maybe I could get Maggie off the hook.
This witness's cross-examination's over. You're free to go, Mr. Tigre.
Gumshoe? Your Honor, sir. Wait! That might be the thumbnail if I can get a clean picture of that. That is brilliant.
Detective?
Detective Gumshoe. Sorry I took so long, pal. I staked everything on this. My badge, the works. So here it is. My heart's counting on this, too.
What is it, detective?
Isn't it obvious, pal? The final decisive piece of evidence.
What?
I'm assuming we're going. Yeah, I was going to say we're going to have a recess. Sorry it took so long, pal, but I finally got the results back from the lab. The results? I had the prints, pal, from this medicine bottle.
Oh, so? Do you know who the prince belonged to now?
You think I'm some kind of hack detective? Of course I know.
So, tell us. They're the tigers, right? I knew it.
You bet. Clear as crystal all over the bottle. Yeah, Furio Tigre's paw prints, all right.
It's great, we've got him now, Nick.
Have we, though?
What's wrong with you? You've hardly said a word since Detective Gumshoe got here. You laid everything on the line, Nick.
I know. Look, I'm sorry, but it's kind of hard to say, but it really doesn't make any difference whose prints are on this bottle now. Eh? What? What? Why not? What we need to produce at this stage is in the trial is irrefutable evidence that the tiger put poison in Glenelg's coffee. He's already admitted that he met the victim. The fact that his prints are on this bottle doesn't really make any difference now. I knew it. Right, no matter how hard I try, I'll never be of any use.
Don't be so hard on yourself.
This is our last chance to help Maggie. I've been working on some useless evidence this whole time. It's alright, I'm a real loser. I'm not breaking you know, it's not breaking news, pal. Gumshoe telling some hard truths.
Detective Gumshoe? Maggie, you've been working on something for me?
Sorry I let you down, Maggie. I know you didn't do it. I'm a detective. We're supposed to be able to prove stuff like that. I'm really sorry. I'll get out of your hair now.
Detective Gumshoe, wait.
He's, gone.
Is there anything we can do now, Nick?
I wish there was. Gumshoe worked so hard to get that evidence. If only there was some way I could use it. Well, we could do the good old, I mean, technically it's not a nice way to do it, but we could have some Saul Goodman strategies up our sleeve right now. And, you know, fool everyone.
Mr. Wright,
Yes, Your Honor?
I granted you a recess so you could prepare this decisive evidence you've discovered.
Yes.
Don't keep us all in suspense, Trite. Show us. Naturally, we can assume it's evidence that will actually stand up in court, can we?
Think Phoenix. Don't let Gumshoe's hard work go to waste. How much of my time are you gonna waste? I ain't been in no court before. But you lawyers sure know how to blow things out of proportion.
No doubt, given the nature of the evidence, it will speak for itself. Nevertheless, you will talk us through it, Mr. Wright.
Well, I know I can't prove anything with this new evidence. I'm really backed into a corner here. Maybe if he thinks he's got me beat, he'll let his guard down a bit. So basically, we're going to bullshit him. We're going to bullshit. Brilliant.
Don't keep us waiting any longer, Mr. Wright. Just send this final piece of evidence to the court.
Well, here goes nothing. This is the defense's final piece of evidence.
Isn't that the victim's...
Yes, Your Honor. Naturally, the court is already aware of the contents inside of this bottle. However, interesting new information has come to light. We have clearly identified some fingerprints on it. Fingerprints belonging to you, Mr. Tigre. Yeah, what?
But Mr. Wright, what conclusion are you hoping to draw from this new information?
No one in here knows what this bottle contains, except for one man. One person in this courtroom should theoretically be in the dark. My prints are on that pansy-looking bottle. Is that what you're saying? Oh, what the hell's in it anyway? A phony trial, a phony lawyer, and phony clues. Everything in this case has been phony. Seems like the perfect excuse for some phony evidence. I'm about to beat you at your own game, son. Mr. Tigre, this is the decisive piece of evidence that will prove your guilt. Why? Because it contains... I mean, I openly know that that's a lie. If I say potassium cyanide, I'm screwed. The victim's air medicine's the obvious one. What he's obviously telling us to, you know, lie. So, technically... Okay, well, the ear medicine doesn't do anything, so I'm gonna have to go with potassium cyanide. Bottle contains potassium cyanide.
Potassium cyanide?
Poison used to murder Mr. Elg, Your Honor. The victim's killer used of this very bottle. And on this bottle, Mr. Tigre, we found your fingerprints. Well, how do you explain that? You make a good clown, you know that? What? You ain't never gonna get this to stick. Who's making me laugh now? You think a cheap bluff like that is gonna fool the tiger? Bluff? I see straight through you, Phoenix Wright. This ain't a bottle with a cyanide in it. No? This is the bottle we found traces of No, this is the bottle we found traces of poison in. Don't mess with it, Tiger, or you're gonna get ripped to shreds. The cyanide bottle was brown and made of glass. That cheap piece of trash don't look nothing like it. And there we have it. Got him. At last.
What? Why is everyone gone quiet? I said that bottle.
Is this the bottle you're referring to?
Yeah, that's it. That's the bottle where the cyanide was in. But yous ain't gonna find my prints on that bottle. Don't let that cozy looking suit fool you people. That lawyer's just playing games. Tell him, Mr. Prosecutor. Tell that guy where to go.
You still haven't figured it out. Don't you realize what you just said?
What I said? What did I just say?
You were summoned to this court for the first time earlier today. You really had nothing to do with this murder. You shouldn't have known all the little details. For instance, you shouldn't have known what kind of bottle this potassium cyanide was in. Grr. But just now, you slipped in front of every single person in this courtroom. You described the exact bottle used by the killer to hold the poison.
You don't know who's you messing with. I'm the Tiger. I control millions of dollars on the black market. You think I'm gonna let some jumped up suit get the better of me?
Sure, the last piece of evidence was phony. But that's just what you deserve. A phony trial with a phony lawyer. It was all played out by you, the biggest phony of them all. I was gonna say, rolls, copious amounts of rolls. I was gonna say, that's impressive he caused a blackout. Just his sheer power level alone. Just managed to break all the lights in here.
What's going on?
Looks like a blackout.
Well done, Wright.
Damn, he's got some aim.
I saved my 17th cup of coffee just for you. Savor it while you watch the police restrain your prey.
Mr. Wright, you caught a tiger by his toe, but if this one hollers, he won't be let go. Now then, how are things with Mr. Tigre, Mr. Goddo?
He's being arrested on suspicion of murder of Glenelg, Your Honor.
Fortunately for us, we managed to rectify a very grave error. Miss Bird was found guilty in the absence of a genuine defense attorney.
Yes, she was.
And in the absence of genuine evidence, but the tiger made one mistake.
Indeed. You very nearly got away with everything if it wasn't for that one slip of the tongue. Furio Tigre is a truly frightening criminal.
Huh. The truly frightening one is that defense attorney over there.
I mean, to be fair, this is actually quite good because it shows that Phoenix actually is willing to play a little bit of sleight of hand and bend the rules a little bit, which you see a lot more in Apollo Justice, where he basically just really, well, he doesn't just bend the rules, he damn right breaks them.
Well, now I am in a position to deliver my verdict. This court finds the defendant, Maggie Bird, That is all. This court is adjourned.
Yeah, I don't know about I don't know about the dual, like, not dual destinies, Spirit of Justice, but with Phoenix Wright, I definitely like in Apollo Justice, like, you definitely see Phoenix bend the rules a lot more to suit what he when or to get his way in court a little bit. He's definitely more of an experienced attorney at times in those games.
Mr. Wright, I'm at a loss for words. Thank you, sir. Congratulations, Maggie. I was so mad when Mr. Wright landed me in all that trouble a month ago. Now I feel like I can forgive him.
Hey, that wasn't me, Maggie. That was the tiger.
Hey, look, Nick. In the doorway.
Detective Gumshoe. Oh, guess I'll be heading off then. See you around, pal. Wait.
Detective Gumshoe.
Oh yeah. Congratulations, Maggie. Oh, I've got a sneeze coming onto my nose and I can feel it. Whew, okay. I think I'll keep going, but it's like that. Like you get a sharp pain, you can feel it, it's coming.
Thanks.
I knew you were innocent all along. Sure you did. You mean, to be fair, you actually did.
Why didn't you say that in your testimony then?
Eh? Oh, well, I was... Well, I guess I'll be heading off then. See you around. Wait up, detective. Just run off.
Maggie, why are you being so hard on him? He busted his butt for you. Thanks to him that we got the medication bottle. That wasn't even of any use. But only because Mr. Wright used it so cleverly.
Oh, yeah, you say clever. It's spelled cleverly. I've just never really used the word before. I guess it is. I'm thinking of a surname that you spells it differently, I guess.
Detective Gumshoe was just running around in circles.
Poor guy. Looks like she still isn't ready to forgive him.
Can you put in a good word for him, Nick?
Yeah, Maya's right. I should help Gumshoe out. It's clear he needs it. Maggie? You know Detective Gumshoe's been really worried about you for all of this.
I wanted to believe that, sir. But on the first day of the trial, he practically gave the judge a free pass to lock me up.
He didn't have any choice, Maggie. He's a detective. He has to report the facts.
He doubted me, that's why. He thought I might have done it.
I've got to prove to her that Gumshoe really cares about her. I know, I'll give her a little present to celebrate her freedom. Give her the twin tea set. She'll love that. However, I believe it's the one thing we haven't used yet in the trial. I believe it's this. Here you are, a present to celebrate your freedom.
That's...
A present from Detective Gumshoe, made with a ton of love. Was it sausages and rice? I mean, there's worse things to eat.
He said you lost weight and he was worried about you. Detective Gumshoe? I actually really like weenies, you know.
Refuse the urge to make puns. I'm assuming that's her belly. I mean, hey, there's worse things to eat than rice and sausages. I mean, hey, it's if you're going for a diet of, you know, you go for certain diets, that's probably actually really healthy.
Do you guys hear that? I'm pretty hungry myself, you know.
Yeah, the trial dragged on a bit today, didn't it?
Is it okay if I eat this now?
That just looks so weird to me as a picture. Just Maya being so happy and crying over eating sausages. No, I don't know, just weird picture. That might be the thumbnail, because it's too weird.
So, how is it, Maggie? It's really good.
Damn, Gumshoe can cook, I guess. Why is she dressed like that? Because that's what she got arrested in. So the case of phonies comes to an end. The false allegations surrounding Maggie have all been cleared up. And who knows? Maybe a whole new chapter of her life is about to start. Yeah, why she's dressed like that because that's where she works, and she got arrested like that. So she's dressed up like a waitress or a maid. That was her job after she got kicked off the police. But for now, I think that's all the time we've got for today. I believe we are on to the last. I think there's only one case left. I might be, well, technically I believe there's two, but it's all, they basically conjoin to make one. So, and it's the final case as well. So we're getting, I guess we're coming really to the end of of this game. But we've, you know, like I said, we've got 2 trials, so we've probably got about, I don't know, about 7 or 8. Nah, I like to guess about 7 different streams left of this. So I'd say we're at the end. We're more in the middle, I guess. I don't know. But for now, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. For people on Twitch, we are going over after a short break to play Half-Life 2. If you guys miss a stream, there should be links to BitChute, Rumble, and YouTube. If you click on my name and then look to the right, they should be there. They're basically archive channels for such. If you're watching this on one of those channels, this all stream live from Twitch. If you ever want to interact and watch live, you're more than welcome to. There should be a link in the description of every video that I do to the Twitch channel, as well as any other platform you wish to watch me on. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. It does help me out in the algorithm, and I do try to respond to most of them. So without further ado, I'd like to thank you guys for watching one final time, and bye-bye.